Hello and welcome to the final showcase for CIT 348. This showcase is a culmination of the semester's efforts and will focus on an analysis of lifestyle choices and health outcomes. This showcase has been prepared by Hunter Gentry, Charles Spilsbury, Austin Shaw, and Ty Tucker. The focusing question behind this project is how do lifestyle choices such as activity, diet, and workout habits impact our health outcomes? The key factors that we wanted to look at for this presentation are physical activity levels, obesity levels, and diet quality. Some considerations we had to make about the data are that this data is only from the US. The analysis is on a state level, not on individuals, and there are some factors that we are unable to account for. And those include genetic factors, individual behaviors, socioeconomic factors, and other environmental factors. Health outcomes affect each and every one of us. Our objective was to take a data-driven look at what can positively affect our health and what factors may be limiting a healthy lifestyle. In order to effectively be data-driven in our results for this presentation, we followed the CRISP-DM process. We began with understanding what we were looking at, so how lifestyle choices impact health outcomes. Then we got into data understanding, so we collected and explored the data related to physical activity levels, nutrition, and other health indicators. The data that we found was then prepared, cleaned, and ready for analysis. In modeling it, we looked for patterns between lifestyle habits and health outcomes, and then we evaluated those results to determine what led to strong lifestyle choices. And finally, in our deployment phase, we are going to now present those findings to you here in this showcase. As we continue down the CRISP-DM process, we move on to understanding our data. First, we had to find data from various sources. In this case, we've had 3 different sources, and then we cleaned that data. So the data was filtered so that it met our conditions of obesity rates, physical activity levels, and diet indicators. We removed any incomplete or inconsistent entries. The data was standardized across the variables. New variables were created for statistical analysis. And then we had a final data set that was structured to lead to some correlatory analysis. Before we continue any further into the analysis, there are some key terms around this topic that we want to ensure everyone understands. So those are lifestyle choices, which are everyday habits that affect our overall health. Physical activity, this is any movement of the body that uses energy, such as exercise. Diet and nutrition, this is the quality of food a person eats. Health outcomes, these are the effects of lifestyle choices on a person's overall health. Chronic disease, chronic diseases are long-term conditions, most commonly heart disease and obesity. And then well-being. This is overall mental, emotional, and physical health. Based on our focusing question, here's what we analyzed. Obesity rates for the whole country. Obesity rates, physical activity, and health. And then obesity rates, diet, and health. On the following slides, you will see our findings. On here, we can see obesity rates. These 4 charts taken in 1990, 2000, 2010, and then 2022 show the scale to which obesity is on the rise globally. If we want to hone in particularly on the US, you can see a deeper and deeper shade of red, meaning higher and higher levels of obesity. In 1990, not a single country in the world was over 20% obesity. That has changed a lot. As of 2022, we are over 40% of the world. Next, we're looking at physical activity and health. Here, we have a scatter plot. Along the y-axis, we have population percent inactivity. And along the x-axis, we have the population percent that is obese. We can see that there is a linear correlation between inactivity and obesity. Once again, we are trying to analyze for correlations, this time between diet and health. As we draw our attention to the axes, we can see that population with a poor diet is along our y-axis, and then population of obese population is along our x-axis. Once again, we see that there is a linear correlation between the quality of someone's diet and the rate at which they are obese. As we've seen across both those scatter plots, there is a linear relationship or correlation between diet, physical activity, and obesity. The higher the activity and the better the diet, the healthier the lifestyle. The lower the activity and the poorer the diet, the higher there is a risk for obesity. The United States is plagued with this. Thus, low activity and better diet could lower obesity rates in the same way that high inactivity and poor diet has higher obesity rates. This suggests that lifestyle factors have compounding effects across our health outcomes. The key takeaways we want people to have after this presentation are that high activity and a better diet can offset and prevent obesity. Both are not necessarily needed, as one can be an offset, but the better the overall health lifestyle, the better the overall health outcomes. Lifestyle, diet, and exercise are important to avoid outcomes such as chronic disease like obesity and heart disease. While these findings are important, valuable, and there is merit to them, we must acknowledge that there are limitations to the data that we've had in front of us today. Firstly, these are self-reported surveys. The BRFSS dataset relies on self-reported information, which could include errors or under or over reporting. Across the datasets, there are different types of data. So there could be different methods when collecting the data. There is a difference in the scope and aggregation. Each of the three datasets operates on a different level of detail with how they were modeled. There are time range variations. And finally, it's always important to remember correlation is not causation. While we did see strong correlation, that does not mean that one factor causes the other. Today, we looked at three different health relationships. First, physical activity and health, diet and health, and then obesity rates globally from the years 1990 through 2022. Through our analysis, we found that there were correlations between unhealthy diet and obesity, low exercise and obesity, and overall obesity leading to worse health outcomes. Therefore, we can assess that individuals with more regular exercise routines and healthier lifestyles and diets were at a lower risk for obesity and its associated health complications. Thank you for joining us today for this presentation, and we hope that you reach out if you have any questions or thoughts about what was covered today.